Hey, Shalom. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, underneath Commander General Yohana. We are not affiliated or associated with any other Israelite group. Hey, tonight's topic, man, is going to be something very heavy, man. You know, right now we are living in the line of days, man. The last days, that's what we're living in right now. You're turning on your TVs and you're starting to see it more and more. General Muhammad did a heavy class last week, man, about, you know, the things that we're going through in World War III and how a lot of our people are not even prepared for World War III, man.
Right.
Not even prepared for all of the things that are about to happen. You know what I'm saying? General Muhammad brought out some heavy topics, man, some heavy things. He said, you know, when World War III kick off, he said, what happens when we have to live in a bunker with each other, a bomb shelter? You know what I'm saying? If we have to live in a bomb shelter, imagine if the people that's living in the bomb shelter can't even get along with each other before we came into the bomb shelter. I mean, people fighting and arguing, can't get along with each other. This is before World War III. So when World War III cracks off and then we're forced to have to be in bomb shelters, how are we going to survive in there together?
Right.
How are we going to live in there together, man? Man, you know, and this class tonight is about raising a righteous family in the eyes of the Most High, man. Having a righteous family and what it takes to have a righteous family and what led us into us not having a righteous family, man. And, you know, first thing I want to say also, man, is Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua Barakatah to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shemartah Hashem, Yahushua to the sisters tuning in to this class. You know what I'm saying? It's good to be in here. If you got any questions, make sure you ask them. You know what I'm saying? We'll answer them to our best ability, and those questions will be answered. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to go into something very heavy, man. Something that lacks in the black community, man. Not only in the black community, but the brown community as well. And that is having a family structure. You know what I'm saying? We lack that tremendously in the black community. Most of our households don't have a true family structure, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that true family structure, but our oppressors, they do have it. Our oppressors, they have that but they have that family structure. The father, the mother, the children, they have that.
Right.
If you could you go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3?
Okay.
Shoo.
1 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I have you know.
But I have you what?
Know.
I have you know. So know this. Go ahead.
That the head of every man is Christ.
The head of what?
Every man is Christ.
The head of every man is Christ. Go ahead.
And the head of every woman is the man.
Is what?
The man.
The head of every woman is the man. Notice that it didn't say the head of every woman is the woman. Or the head of every woman is herself.
Right.
It said the head of every woman is what?
The man.
Is the man. What we're reading right here is structure. Just like in the UPK, what do we have? We have order and we have structure.
Right.
Everything is given by rank. Even with your household, there is a line and chain of commandment in the household. Read that again from the top, Baba Kashad.
Okay. 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
That is correct structure, man. And it is exactly what we need in our family households, man. Think about this. Structure and order in your households keeps things in control in your family.
Right.
You know, you ever wonder why the kids act bad? Well, okay, put it like this. When you have the father and the mother in the household, the children have order. But as soon as the father leaves to go to work or to go do anything that he does, the kids begin to get out of control and get rowdy.
Right.
But as soon as daddy come home, what happens? everybody begins to straighten up. Everybody begins to listen. You know what I'm saying? Because in every household, there's supposed to be a order and structure. It's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a single black household. A woman is not supposed to be raising children of her, on her own. And a lot of situations and a lot of times, sisters get in that situation, it's because of bad decisions. Choosing the wrong man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And listen, sis, we ain't blaming our sisters because what we understand in the Isupk is our sisters and brothers don't have the truth outside of these walls.
Right.
And that's what we're giving them. Just like us, the brothers and sisters in the school, like a lot of us wasn't born into the truth. A lot of us wasn't. So we didn't get or receive the blessings that our children have today, who have mothers and fathers that are in the truth, who get to be born and raised in a household where they know the laws, where they know the commandments, where they get taught correct discipline. A lot of our household didn't have that. A lot of our households, we came from crappy situations, bad situations, drug-infested homes, single-parent homes. So like, you can read that again.
1 Corinthians 11:3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Damn right. And if you could, is your phone talking about? I'm gonna send you something right quick out. So, actually, I'm not a cursor. Kanye, I was teaching class, sir, but I'm still available, so I can talk right quick. Okay, come on, sir. Okay, come on, sir. Actually, let's work it out, sir. Let me know if you get that out. Alright, like I was saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, our homes are destroyed, man. The black and brown homes are destroyed all over the earth, man. You go to Brazil, it's the same thing. You go to Cuba, it's the same thing. You go to Mexico, it's the same thing. You come to America, same thing. You go to the reservations, it's the same thing. You got that up?
Okay.
Con, you can read that out when you want to.
Okay. African American family structure. The family structure of African American has long been a matter of national public policy.
Noticing what it said. Go ahead, read it. Read the rest of it again.
From the top.
Con.
African American family structure. The family structure of African Americans have long been a matter of national public policy interest.
It's always been an interest of a public policy. Now, this is what the public policy is right here. It is an institutionalized proposal to solve relevant and real world problems guided by conception and implemented by programs as a course of action created or enacted. Or it's typically a government or nonprofit organization.
Right.
So the government has always took an interest in African American family structure. Why have they taken an interest in the American family structure? Just take a wild guess. Why do they want to be so fascinated with black family households, man? Anybody can answer. You can answer too, or I can shout out if you want to. Does anybody know why the government, which is ran by the oppressor, why do they take an interest in the family structure of African Americans? Any comments in the comment section? I'll give y'all a couple seconds. Why does the government take an interest in the African American family structure? Still no comments on it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you for time's sakes. All right, the reason why the government is focused in on African American, the so-called African American family structure, because they want to find out a way on how to destroy a family structure. They want to know what goes on in the inside, so they can destroy it. They want to know what we're doing, what makes us think, so they can destroy our family households. You can go ahead and read the rest of that out.
A 1965 report by Daniel Patrick, known as a Moynihan report, examined the link between black poverty and family structures. It hypnotized that the destruction of black...
Hypothesized.
Oh, select. Hypothesized that the destruction of the black nuclear family structure will hinder further progress toward economic and political equality.
So what they found out was, they said the destruction of the black nuclear family. A nuclear family is when you have both parents in the household. You have the mother and the father. So what they found out is the destruction of the black family with the mother and father would hinder further progress toward economic and political equality. So what they knew is, if the black family is destroyed, it'll destroy their chances of having any type of economic or political equality.
Right.
Now, my question is to anybody in the class: what is the result? How is the black household right now, economically or politically? Are we political? We have any political equality right now? Are we economically straight situated as a people? You got it. Go ahead. You got it.
Sir, we fell in all categories.
Damn right. Like Shayal is right. We're failing in all categories. This is in 1965. You got to realize in 1965 we had more stronger families. We had more of a stronger family household. But they knew destroying the black family with the mother and father structure, it would destroy and hinder any further progress towards economic and political equality. You know, without those things, you can't even build a nation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is hard. If you're poor, if everything around you is poor, your family poor, your grandma poor, your granddaddy poor, and nobody has anything that can help them economically, it's gonna be hard out here. Yeah, coming up.
Brother Marcus said we have no equality.
That is true. We have no equality amongst our people. We don't have any equality amongst our people. Only thing we know now is how to kill each other. But all of that comes from us not having a nuclear family. A nuclear family is when you have the father and the mother.
Right.
Just like in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3, what did it say? But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. And the head of every woman, I have you know that the head of every man is Christ. And the head of the woman is man. Scratcher. That is a part of a family. When you don't have that, you have situations like this where the family's not able to make it economically or have a political equalities in this planet, man. That's why you don't see a lot of so-called real Negroes up there speaking at politician bars. Like, you know, they speak for the politicians and stuff like that. You got these Uncle Tom sellouts,
right,
who love Esau so much they ready to kiss his cheeks as soon as they get a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, soon as he farts, he had turkey. That's our people, man, and it's very sad, man. It's very sad. You know what I'm saying? And listen, also this, you know, You look at the black and brown households now, man. Our homes are destroyed, man. But does anybody know how they destroyed our households? Does anybody know how the oppressor destroyed our households? God.
Brother Mari said TV, music, etc.
That's a fact. Give him a hand. Give him a hand. He's right. TV, music, and etc. But back in the 1960s, the only reason we're still destroyed by that right now, what he's talking about right now, what the brother Market is talking about right now, and give that brother a hand, everybody in the class, man, tonight, man. That brother Marcus, man, a student in the school coming up strong. We see him becoming a trooper very soon, man.
Right.
Very soon. But like he said, the TV and etc. and music, everything has been a big part in destruction on our people. But this all goes back also to them destroying the nuclear family structure. You got it out.
Brother Quan said welfare, child support, getting rid of the black male.
That's right. And the only way they could do all of those things is if the white man has entered into our homes, man.
Right.
And how did they enter into our homes? Welfare. Like back then, I remember back then, even my mother told me when they used to have to get the welfare checks, they used to have something called a welfare checkup, where they would send a oppressor woman to your house to check your house to make sure that she was single, to make sure she didn't have a man. Like, they so diabolical. They would send somebody out to your house to check to make sure you didn't have a man before they gave you any type of help. It's no different than now. Like, if you were a married couple, the government doesn't want to help black married couples. They don't want to help them with anything. A sister literally has to say that she's single, that the baby daddy ain't in the life, just to receive any type of help.
Right.
Like, the sister has to shame herself just to get help. Because one thing about America and Christianity, they frown upon sisters not having a husband, not having a man. If you could, or you could read the rest of it for me on the article.
When Manny Han wrote in 1965 on the coming destruction of the black family.
He read in 1965 on what?
On the coming destruction of the black family.
So in 1965, they already knew the destruction of the black family was coming. Go ahead.
The out of wedlock birth rate was 25% among black people.
So back in 1965, it was only 25% of women having single kids. That is a small percentage.
Right.
It was a small percentage of so-called Israelite women having kids without being married. Go ahead.
In 1991, 68% of black children
what's the percentage?
68%.
You see how they number, it didn't even double, it doubled. In 1991, that number doubled. What happened in the 90s? In 1991, think about this. What has happened in the black community all the way up to 1991? What has happened in the black community up to 1991? Does anybody have an answer for that question? In 1991, what had conspired in the black community all the way up to 1991? You can answer too if you want to. Like, think of it in the sense of, it's 1991. But what all has happened to the black community before 1991? What has impacted us? What has happened in our community up to 1991?
Crack, segregation,
Crack, segregation. What we got some other things.
Not just yet. Brother Quan said AIDS.
AIDS.
Nolly Dre said single parent household, crack cocaine, heroin. Brother Martin said rap.
You got it right. You got it fat. Gangster rap came because of drugs. Like gangster rap got pushed heavy. You got it out.
And he also said homosexuals.
Which ties into AIDS. If you could give me Mark chapter 3, verse 27. Like this right here said, man, in 1991, 68% of black children were born outside of marriage, compared to 25% in 1965. The number doubled for women not having husbands in their household and having kids. It doubled.
3 and 7.
27. Mark 3 and 27.
Okay. Mark 3 and 27. No man can enter into a strong man's household.
Read that again.
No man can enter into a strong man's house.
So no man can enter into a strong man's house. Go ahead.
And spoil his goods.
And go ahead.
Except he will first bind the strong man.
What does that mean when it says the only way you can spoil his goods is if you bind the strong man? What does that mean? You got it up.
If you cut the head off a snake, then anything bound to happen. And the head, basically what I'm saying, the head of the household is the man, the black man. So
right.
You take the man off of it, the rest of the family gonna die.
That's true. That's true too. That's a good way to put it too. That's a good way to put it. And you know what, you're right, Charlotte. That's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another way you bind a strong man is by cutting him off. You go ahead.
Brother, Dre Nolly, he said take him off track.
That's true too. Take him off track. You what did you say you do to him, Michelle?
If you cut the head off the snake, it's gonna kill the snake, just like the family. Like, you take the black man out, then it's gonna kill the family.
That's a true fact. Way to give him a hand. Yeah, man, he's right. If you cut the head off, because the man is the head of the household, if you cut the head off, the body will die also. So think about what has happened in the black communities with our people, man. Our family households have been destroyed because all of our fathers have been removed from our households.
Right.
Some of us were able to be raised with our father, but you think about 1991 when child support was, crack and cocaine was destroying the black community. You had tons of brothers and sisters getting murdered for drug money. That's what was happening back then. All of that stuff happened, and with that happening, guess what? The devil was able to spoil our goods, man, because he had the strong man bind. And then guess what else he came up with? Child support. Probation. Brothers get out of prison, do probation, and got to pay for probation. Like, you paying for probation. Soon as you do one wrong thing, you going back to jail.
Right.
Even though you've been paying all that money to probation. I've heard stories about brothers who were paying top-notch dollars for probation and then get a random drug test, fail, and get put in prison when they was almost there. When they were close. 2 months before finishing up, the brother smoked weed, go back to prison. Can you read that again from the top up?
Okay. When Wani Ha wrote in 1965 on the coming destruction of the black family, the out of wedlock birth rate was 25% among black people. In 1991, 68% of black children were born outside of marriage, where marriage is defined with a government issued license. In 2011, 72% of black babies were born to unmarried mothers.
Read that again.
In 2011, 72% of black babies were born to unmarried mothers.
72%. Meaning that these women were not, maybe they didn't have a man. Or maybe they just might have been shacking, you know, what they say, like, oh, we boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, but the nation of Israel, we don't look at a license as being married. In the eyes of the Lord, sex is marriage. But we come from a society where they believe in was it monogamy? They believe in monogamy, of man having one wife. So it's natural for a brother who's an Israelite want to having more than one woman. So what does he do? He goes out and lead a woman, or he doesn't come around, or he doesn't show up, or he's not a good father, or he's in the streets. Like I told you, man, all of this stuff was by design. This oppressor is one of the most subtle beasts of the field, man. Like, he looks for all type of ways to destroy us. This is why the so-called the public policy, they had an interest in everything that we were doing. The national public policy, they had a strong interest in what blacks were doing on the beach. Not on the beach, but what blacks were doing in their households. They were curious. They wanted to know. And the reason why they wanted to know this is they wanted to figure out a way how they can destroy our families, man. Because at one point in time, black family households we were popping, man. We had longer marriages. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had that. But these devils wanted to figure out a way how they can destroy their nuclear family structure, man. Where you have one mother and one father. They wanted to destroy that. All right, you can go ahead, up.
In 2011, 72% of black babies were born to unmarried mothers, while the 2018 National Vital Statistic Report provides a figure of 69.4% for this condition.
69.4% is like, that's not even, that's still bad. You got 72%, but then they changed it down to 69.4%. It's still bad. That's a lot of people in that 69.4 percentage, man. It's a lot of brothers and sisters from the nation of Israel.
Right.
That's a lot, man. That's crazy. If you could, you can go back to that scripture.
Okay.
Mark chapter 3, verse 27.
Mark 3, verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man.
First, he would do what?
Bind the strong man.
How did America government bind the strong man in these black households? How did they bind these households in these black communities? We got any gun? We got any
Only thing was, Nolly Dre said, I've been dealing with probation for 5 years.
Good night, Lord be with you,
And another thing, just off the question you just asked, how they bind a strong man, he said drugs, gangs, and prison.
That's exactly what they do. Drugs, guns, and prison.
And Quan also said the same thing.
They go hand in hand. If you got the drugs, you're gonna need a gun, and guess what's gonna happen when you get caught? You're going to prison. That, hell, certain women. You got it out.
And also, Brother Marcus said turning the black woman against the black man.
Damn right. That's one of their main things. They've turned a lot of our black women into the lieutenants of the so-called oppressor.
Right.
That's his lieutenant. He calls on her. She's there for him, and she's there for the oppressor's daughter. But you're nothing.
Right.
You can read that again. You go ahead up.
Mark 3:27. No man can enter into a strong man's house
No man can enter into a strong man's house. Go ahead.
and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
That is, what that's exactly what's going on right now, man. These oppressors have came into our house, man, and destroyed our families, man. Destroyed our families. You know how many people's fathers was on crack? You know how many people's fathers was on crack? Those crackheads you see in your neighborhood today, those are brothers and sisters who got lost.
Right.
And didn't have a way out. And a lot of them, the sad thing is, a lot of them die without the way out. They die without knowing any other way to get out of this hellhole. So, like, you read that again from the top up?
Mark 3:27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
And they have bound our strong man. And these oppressors have entered into our houses, man. So like, you don't think pass me that red board, do you? It's right here. So like, I appreciate that. And this is one thing that's crazy, man. You have a lot of sisters right now who always say this right here. I want a strong man that was like my grandfather. I want a strong man that was like my grandfather. Well, guess what? You got to be more like your grandmother.
Right.
You want a strong man like your grandfather? Be more like your grandmother.
Right.
Making those beautiful homemade buttermilk biscuits. Beautiful. Flaky. You got it up.
Yeah, you done started something. If I could, I would shot.
Go ahead, you got it.
One thing about that too, a lot of sisters always say, if you bring up past history on behalf of what grandma did and granddaddy, first thing they say grandma was a fool, but grandma knew one thing: granddaddy gonna run the household, be quiet. Grandma did her thing, But now with y'all sisters out here, what do you bring to the table? Y'all got more resources than what grandma got, but y'all don't even know how to overcome and use the resources you got.
A lot of these sisters now, they don't relate it to their box being their resource. General Muhammad said something. He said, if a sister asks you, what are you bringing to the table? He said, poof, I'm not even here. I'm not even here. What do you bring to the table? Poof, I disappeared. Like, that is the worst thing a woman can say. What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table?
Right.
Like, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. If that's your main concern is what I have to offer, we already on bad circumstances.
Right.
We already shooting bad. You got it up? Any comments?
No, I'm laughing at you.
Okay. And you got to remember this. Sisters, like sister said, like they want a strong man like their grandfather. But what they don't understand is there wasn't child support or abortion clinics running rapid in the black community, man. Like, a man had to be a man during that time. Right. You think about the 30s and the 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like how it is right now. We didn't have a big influence from social media or OnlyFans. Or what's something else? I don't know. Kardashians and Hip Hop of Atlanta, which has all the homosexual men in it. I seen a fight scene that they showed on YouTube. Two big freaking brothers who big like gorilla and they're beating the hell out of each other. I'm talking about the cameraman step back, you can hear the camera. Ooh, they beating the living hell out of each other. You got it too, Shayon.
And it's crazy. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's not off of what the women got going on. They got their own season for guys. Season.
For real?
Own season. That ain't men and women conjoined. That's the men's own season.
Which one? What is this called?
Oh my God. It's on long. The same lines of, but that right there, that's sick.
Basketball niggas of whatever. That is horrible. We let the TV teach us how to be parents. You got it. Huh?
And it's like one more thing too. On behalf of that, I would not be surprised as how much celebrities may get exposed on that show.
It's starting to be revealed in these last days. You're gonna find out that your favorite rapper might be gay. Oh, you got it. So like you can go ahead and read the rest of it on that scripture.
Oh, that was it, sir.
All right, you can read it again.
Mark 3:27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
That's what the oppressor has done and turned our women. And with this happening, with us being bound and strong man being removed to the house, a lot of our women have turned their back on us, man. A lot of women have, and a lot of men have. You know what I'm saying? Have turned their back on their own people, man. Look at you as if you're disgusting. Look at you like you're the problem. All right, so like if you could you get me Proverbs? Give me Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6.
Come on.
Proverbs 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go.
Read that again.
Train up a child in the way he should go.
You train up that child in the way he should go, man. Go ahead.
And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
And when he's old, he's going to still remember these laws, statutes, and commandments. This is a part of the reason why we are in a crappy condition in the Black, Latino, Native Indian community. Because we haven't been trained up since a child. What do you got these children doing this day? If you could go to that what is that YouTube, go to children fighting old lady.
Kick her in the stomach.
Ooh, I ain't seen that one.
I believe this one is, but I don't want to show it on.
It's that one next to the left.
Right?
Not to your left. Right there. I'm trying to see which one to put. Let me show you what happens when your kid
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel.
This is what happens when your children are not trained in the way they should go. Did you see that? Did you see? Look, guess where this happened at right here? Brother Marcus. This happened in Sumter, South Carolina. Enlighten us on if you know what's going on in this video, because this happened down there where you're from. And this is a part of the state where we're from in South Carolina. This is what happens when your children haven't been trained up properly. Go ahead,
Social services. You know, and move on, and you can read the comments later on.
it back out since you got the camera on. Wind it back to what they did to the sister. Now this is a 70-something-year-old sister, man.
That boy need his ass.
This is a 70-year-old sister, man. Right here in Sumter, South Carolina, right where we located in South Carolina. This is what happens when your children haven't been trained up. Go ahead.
Disturbing videos, please do not watch it, and and move on, and you can read the comments later on.
Kick the sister. Pause that out. This boy has to be about 12 years old. Maybe 10, 11, or 12 years old. He kicked this sister in her stomach. Kicked the sister in her stomach. Go ahead.
And move on, and you can read the comments later on. Guys, this really, really
That's a mouthful, sir. Sloppy.
Man. That is, you got it out.
You want me to get the comments out of the way?
You get the comments first.
There's a few of them. Alright, brother Marcus, he said he see this every day, make him want to cry sometimes. Nolly Dre said whoever recorded it should be ashamed. Quan said the parents was recording it, if I'm not mistaken. Dre said he needs his ass.
It's exactly.
Marcus, he said it was the older boys recording. Parents left the kids there, as they always do. They drop the kids off every day, make her raise them. Sorry ass parents. Sister Bria, I can't even watch this. I can't watch this mess. Dre said the parents should be in jail. Marcus said lock them all up.
That is a very disturbing video to watch. When I was pissed off just watching it.
it break my heart.
Because look, they do have all of those parents incarcerated right now. All of those parents, they are incarcerated. Because those parents don't know how to train a child, man. And it might sound harsh to somebody when we say train a child. Yes, train your children in the way that they should go.
Right.
Which way should your children go? If you're training your children, let's say they have a way to go. It's a path. Which way should your children go? You got it up.
Sister Bria said, and to think he's going to get bigger and stronger.
Hey, sis, you right. You know what's so crazy? When I was in the world, I knew a child just like him, who me and brothers from the street pretty much raised. And I thank the Most High for the UPK every day. But I think that's something that I never really forgave myself for, because it was a brother just like there was 3 of them, and they all was back to back with each other. One was 8, one was 9, one was 10. And them boys stayed with us for years, back and forth. As much times I was at that house doing the worst things I possibly could do, those boys were raised with us. I'm talking 3-4 years. We in the streets. And the only influence that they have, or role models they have, is us. It's us, the ones from the streets. And one of those young boys right now, who's on my Facebook friend list, who I communicate with right now, is doing life in prison. Doing life in prison because somebody tried to rob him. And when they tried to rob him, he retaliated. After they shot at him, he came back, kicked in the door, killed the grandmother, and killed both of the grandsons who tried to shoot at and set him up. Shot the grandmother while she was laying on the couch, and then killed the other 2 brothers while they were in the room trying to get away. And he's doing life in prison and still contacts me. And it bothers me tremendously, because I was a child trying to teach a child how to be something when I didn't even have the proper instructions on being raised, being trained up correctly. Because my mother and father, does anybody have the answer to that question too?
Oh, as far as which one?
When I asked them, I said, which way you should train the child to go.
Brother Nolly Dre said, on the path of righteousness,
That's
on the
it.
straight path.
That's it. That's exactly what I was looking for. On a straight path to righteousness. And what is that straight path to righteousness? What is that straight path to righteousness? How do you stay on the straight path to righteousness? In other words, come.
Nolly Dre said, ISUPK.
Goddamn right. Damn right. Give him a hand. Damn right. The ISUPK. And guess what? You got it.
Also, the brother Mark said, he said they now, well, basically, now, they now say if you whip your child, DSS is going to handle it. So now it's kind of against the law now, if I'm not mistaken. Which is true.
Now, you're exactly right, too, Op. They do make it to where if you try to discipline your children, you will go to jail.
Right.
And it only makes your job even more harder. Shalaki. That only makes your job harder when you're not able to raise your children in the way of righteousness. It makes your job more harder. Matter of fact, what scripture? Let me get the other scripture for you. If you could you get me Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 12? Because there's a scripture to tell you about what we just seen on this TV. And this is what happens when you don't train your children in the way that they should go. And this is how you train your children in the way you can go. This goes back to what Nolly Dre said also. about if you try to discipline your children, you go to jail.
Ecclesiastes 30:12. Bow down his neck.
Do what?
Bow down his neck.
What happens? What does it mean when you bow down his neck, your children's neck? What are you teaching your children when you make them bow down their neck? And anybody can answer when they got to answer. You got it up?
Nolly Dre said discipline and respect.
Yeah, you're right, but that's not the word I'm looking for. What does it mean when somebody bows down their neck? Go ahead.
Humbling them.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. Humble your children. Go ahead.
While he is young.
While what?
While he is young.
Humble your children while they're young. Teach them how to be humble while they're young. Because those children we just watched in that video, they are young. But nobody has taught those children how to bow down their necks, man. How to be humble. Go ahead.
And beat him on the side.
And do what?
Beat him on the side.
What they should have did to them kids on that video?
Beat him on the side.
I would have beat Salaki.
Mm-hmm.
What did the Lord say do?
Beat him on the sides.
Let me see that stick right there, if I could, Papa Kushar. Listen, I'm just saying, I'm not telling anybody to do this. Don't do this. But if that was my mother and I would have came in the house, I would have did what?
Beat him on the sides.
I'm just saying. It's a nice stick. But don't do that because DSS will be called to you. But this is a part of our custom. You humble them children. Back in ancient times, man, hell, when I was growing up,
Right.
my mother and father, they did more than beat you on the sides. You got beat.
I think that's it right there, sir.
Which one is this one?
Real Husbands of Hollywood. I think that's it. It might be, it might not be.
I think that's the more like a funny version.
Look.
It's more of a funny version with Kevin Hart in it. And the reason why it's funny because it's a goddamn joke.
Right.
It's a joke. The Real Husbands of Hollywood is a joke. You can go ahead with the rest of that scripture up, Barbara Shaw.
And beat him on the sides while he is a child.
And listen to what it said. While they are children. Because when a child gets to a certain age, you can only do so much. You seen this little boy, right?
Right.
He was manhandling that lady. He could manhandle a woman just about. He could fight a woman unless she started punching him in the face. But if that would have been a man, listen. Look at his father, his biological father who was on a righteous path, been in his life. None of that would have happened. As soon as he would have thought he was rushing in, the father would have just easily... What, you think you ready? And that would have been over with. You got it up?
I can hear it right now. Go get your behind in the shower.
You get out, you get beat. Beat. And the parents always did it while you were young.
Right.
Start out young. As soon as they get that age of when they can comprehend and understand, start disciplining them. And when I mean beat them, don't beat the life out of them. Don't be over there beating the damn kids, child abuse style. Discipline your kids. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Read that from the top again, up.
Ecclesiastes 30:12. Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child.
Yeah, whoop their ass sometimes. Sometimes you gotta whoop their ass.
Right.
Don't be afraid. Sometimes you gotta whoop their ass. But you want to start when they're young. You want to program, you want to install this in their head. Just like 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3 said. It says, you know what I'm saying? Mark chapter 3, verse 20. Is that Mark 20? No, Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. You train up a child in the way they should go. If you start with that child when they're young and you bow down their head and teach them how to be humble, you're going to have to give them a couple A whoopings, little butt whoopings every now and then.
Right.
You go ahead up.
And because Dr. Shapar said Proverbs 23 and 13 through 14.
That brother.
He said, withhold not correction from the child.
Yeah, that's damn right.
For if thou beateth him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod and shalt deliver his soul from hell.
I'm going to beat the hell out you. But you're going to live. All right, go ahead.
That's how you know that this is a black man's book right here.
That is a black and brown book. That's our book. I had an Isupk tell me the same thing. He said, yeah, man, my mother, man, she didn't play, but my father, he said, she always got him last. She always called him last. He said, he come in there, eat his supper. He be at the table. he said, Isupk father, she got all the kids in the room. He come home from work, the house quiet. He said, they would hear them talking about what they did. And she said, they always knew they was about to get their ass whooped when the fork hit the plate when he was done. You hear the clink, clink. He get up, whooping tail. Whooping tail, but guess what? It saved him.
Right.
He didn't join the cartel.
Right.
It changed his life. Listen, I got plenty of tail whooping. Anybody else got, who in the chat come and didn't get a whooping? Don't answer that question. I might be a little jealous if you. But that's like, this is the result. That video is the result of children. Read that scripture because that guy he already on the scriptures I was on. I was going to the next side, but the water. That's how you know we one mind, one body. We think just alike. Go ahead, up.
Right. Proverbs 23, 13 through 14. Withhold not correction from the child.
Don't withhold correction from a child. If your child is out here have you ever seen them children in the grocery store? When I seen one and the mother couldn't do nothing, and it broke my heart. Like I wanted to intervene so bad, but you can't these days because you don't know how certain parents act.
Right.
Don't be telling my child what to do. But in the UPK, we do that. Like, if I'm not around and brothers see my child acting up, they gonna say something.
Right.
What the hell I'm gonna be mad for? They saving my child's life. It works vice versa. It works both ways. They go hand in hand with each other. What they like to say, it takes a whole village to raise a child. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Why do you think the older folks would beat the hell out of everybody else kids when they seen them messing up? Because they looked at that child like their own child. And we do not have that in the black community anymore.
Right.
Because your stinking, filthy, disgusting, perverted Christian pastors have taught you nothing but how to be selfish.
Right.
Now, rather than worry about everybody else's family, you just focus on you and yours. What the pastor say? You gotta you gotta focus on yourself before you can help anybody else.
Right.
Well, how does helping yourself help anybody? How does helping yourself help build the community? How? Back in those days, back then, everybody worked together to build each other up. Everybody. I remember going to babysitters' houses. I remember my mama letting other people come, and she babysit their kids, and they each one of them fed each other kids, took care of each other kids. While she worked, my mother might watch her kids. While my mother worked, she'll watch us, feed us, make sure everybody take baths and everything. It was sisterhood. It was brotherhood. It was a real family structure, man. And when it got bad and kids wanted to show out, you got your A-whoop. You got your behind whoop. Go ahead, Art. You can read that.
Withhold not correction from the child. For if thou beatest him with the rod.
If thou what?
beateth him with the rod.
If thou what?
Beateth him with the rod. He shall not die.
He ain't gonna die. He gonna be hurting, but he ain't gonna die. And that goes to show you that you shouldn't be doing child abuse on your children.
Right.
Don't be out here beating the damn living crap out your kid. You got some parents who start whooping the kids and then go to beating, like literally punching the kids. Punching the kids. You guys want to say that?
And that was a small point too. That's heavy that you said that too. Like even when parents discipline their child, if you pissed off, don't try to discipline your child. Wait, discipline your child when you're not upset.
And that's the problem with a lot of our households. You got a lot of sisters who are single mothers who are dealing with a lot of emotions.
Right.
Who are dealing with a lot of emotions. If you could you get me Damn, matter of fact, how did I lose that scripture? Let me get that scripture for you first. And if you got any comments, you can go ahead and let the brothers and sisters say what they want to also.
Come. Nolly Dre said, "That's what I have to continue to instill in my little brother and sister. They have to have the utmost respect for my parent, but sometimes still get out of line."
Damn right, get that brother a hand. Yeah, man. So what you're doing, brother, is you're saving your little brother and sister from having to be like, you know how some children don't listen to their parents at all. Right. So guess who ends up becoming their parent? The prison system.
Right.
The CO. The judge. The kids going in front of the judge, they're looking at the judge like that's their father. Judge, I just want one more chance. I gave you too many chances. We're giving you 5 years. You can read the rest of that scripture. Kind.
Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell.
Damn right. That's how you deliver your kids from hell, man. And if you could also, give me Ephesians chapter 6 verse 4.
Ephesians 6:4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath.
How do you provoke your children into wrath? Ye fathers. I'm going to break it down for you for time's sake. But you're not supposed to be provoking your children into wrath, making them mad. You know how some fathers just be, it's nothing wrong with discipline your children. But don't be that type of father or mother who's just always, making them angry. Like, kid might get a bad grade on their report card. You don't have to beat them for every damn thing.
Right.
The kid leave the bread open. You beat the hell out of them. Abusing them. You can read that again.
Ephesians 6:4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath.
Don't provoke them to wrath, man.
But bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord.
Yeah, right. And that admonition is like instructions of the Lord. It's like you're raising the children up in the instructions of the Lord. You're teaching your children everything that the Bible tells them on how to be a perfect adult. This is what people don't understand. Today's society, parents baby their damn children too much. They baby the damn child. The child is 15 years old, 6'1", 220, beating the hell out of anybody that steps to him.
Right.
Robbing everybody. And as soon as the child go to jail, well, ma'am, your child has 2 strong armed robbery charges, breaking and entering, drug possession, drug distribution, assault and battery. What's the first thing the mama say? What's the first thing the mama says when she hears that? Not my baby.
You're right.
My baby would never. He's a child of God. That is not a child of God. That child has been raised by the streets because he hasn't had that proper discipline. You know what I'm saying? Salaki. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand, man. Like, a lot of parents these days treat their children as if they're babies. You're not raising a freaking baby. You're not raising a baby. You're raising an adult. You let them have an age and time where they're children. You let them do things that children do. But you start teaching them certain things that's going to benefit them when they get to adulthood. Like, baby, you do this. Nah, son, don't do that. Nah, baby girl, don't do this. Oh, nah, baby girl, the law, statutes, and commandments tells you to do this. This is how you do that. This is how you do that. Oh, Dad, I want to go play with the dogs. Go play with the dogs, baby. Go do what you want to do. Hey, son, Dad, I want to go play basketball. Go play basketball. But when it comes to this, you teach them the law, statutes, and commandments. I'm not telling you to tell your damn child to go get a job at 12 years old and start paying rent and, you know, doing everything that you damn do.
Right.
Let your kids be kids, but at the same time, teach them the law, statutes, and commandments. So they will be perfect when they grow up and be good adults, man. Some of y'all out here raising goddamn monsters in the world, man. Raising monsters. I'm talking about, damn, like that child on that TV is a monster, man. Parents don't even know what to damn do with him. You got it up.
And that video was the first time. Just by how he could kick that woman and he was just so comfortable in how he kicked it. That wasn't the first time. Could have been the second time. And then how the house was looking, man, whoever their parents is deserve to be charged for that. Because, I mean, that's an elder woman right there. That's like a child.
Damn right. She's a child. It's like you have children, then you become an adult. It's like a same process again. You got a baby, you got to take care of the baby. You got older folks who get older, you got to take care of them like a baby. You got to change their diaper, you got to feed them.
Right.
You got to do everything to an adult who gets to an older age just like you would with a baby. And you got this damn boy beating on this woman. Listen, man. You need the UPK in the Black and Latino and Native Indian community bad.
Right.
Because none of our children are doing it. Listen, okay. Scriptures are going to be brought to life on that child. But when your kids are brought up in the UPK, your children are taught from a young age on how to be and how to behave themselves, man. How to act, man. You can read that again now.
Ephesians 6:4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up into the nurture of admonition of the Lord.
Right, and a lot of these kids, like right now, we got a problem in our community, man, in the Black, Latino, Native Indian community. A lot of our family households are being raised by single mothers, man.
Right.
And it is a sad thing to do. It is very sad, man. And there's a lot of sisters who have good men in their household, and they end up getting rid of that good man. If you could, give me Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1.
Okay. Proverbs 14:1. Every wise woman buildeth her house.
Every what?
Wise woman buildeth her house.
Every wise woman builds her house, man. What does that mean? Every wise woman takes any steps and procedures to help build up her household. And she does that accordingly to the Bible. So she knows that the man is the head of the household. She allows him to lead, especially if he's a man of the Lord, man.
Right.
She allows that man to lead the household. She doesn't intervene with his decision. Oh, you ain't gonna do that. No, this house in my name. She's not gonna do that. She's going to allow that man to be over that household. And her allowing a righteous man, And I mean a righteous man. I'm talking about a man who's keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments here in the UPK, man. Not no drug dealer, not no crack dealer, not no junkie, not no weed head.
Right.
Weed head can't raise no family, right? He's smoking weed. The police can take the kids at any time. Bro, tell me, man, I smoke weed, but I'm a good father. Boy, if you get caught smoking, DSS gonna take your kids.
Right.
You know how many people I don't see. Look, I seen a sister, like, when I stayed in the hood, right? I stayed in the hood. You can ask Officer Dawada. Officer Dawada, my brother in San Antonio, Texas. Give Officer Dawada a hand. Raising up San Antonio. You know what I'm saying? A big part in raising up South Carolina as well. Raised me underneath this. Raised me as well.
Right.
Officer Dawada used to be out there with me in the neighborhood that I stayed in. You know what I'm saying? When I was a young man, he seen how it was out there. And I watched Officer Dawada and Officer Natazaka Boy stop a sister from stabbing another sister with a knife just like this. Just like this, but maybe this shorter. And was going to stab the sister with it. And the brother them stopped it. And one of the sisters, when the brothers wasn't there, I watched the sister have to let DSS take her children and load them in the car. And she couldn't do that because the police is right there. You could see her, she didn't know how to react. Like when they took her kids, she was like, let me get my, and she couldn't do nothing because and it broke my damn heart. So when they took off, she just sat there and watched them drive off and went right in the house and did not come out the house for 5 days straight. Did not come out the house, did not let anybody come to the house. I mean, from sun up to sundown, she did not come out that house. Everybody thought she had killed herself. And the scripture says, what? Read that again if you could, up.
Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down.
But the what?
Foolish plucketh it down.
But a foolish woman gonna pluck her house down. How does a foolish woman pluck her house down? By kicking the strong man out the damn house.
Right.
By you ain't it, I don't need you, I'll get another man. Then you get another man and you find out he's a child molester.
Right.
I've seen that. Listen, one thing about staying in the hood, you see a little bit of everything. You see a little bit of everything. Listen, ain't no shame in my game. Listen, I've been poor my whole life. I've been raised in just about every ghetto you can think of here in Greenville, South Carolina, Greenwood, South Carolina. Where else I was at? Kentucky, Indiana. Yeah, the list goes on. I've been in, I don't know, some strange reason the Lord loves to direct me to the ghetto to live. And I kind of enjoy it a lot. Hell, Abbeville, Coastal Carolina, Myrtle Beach. I enjoy the ghetto for some reason. I think because they got nice people. I love it. But all the ghettos I've been through has always been the same thing, man. I've seen sisters who left men because she found out he was texting somebody else. Kick him out, get a new man, and find out that the man is a child molester. This is a true story. This is a true story. Sister kicked the brother out the house, let him go. A month later, had a new man in there. And everybody was like, damn, she got a new man already? They stayed together for about 6-7 months. It was good. And then it started to fall apart. Weird stuff started happening. And then she asked me, she said, bro, she said, I ain't gonna say his name. I was about to say his name. She said, but she said, does he kind of act like a pervert to you? And I looked at her, I said, how do you feel about it? She said, yeah, he be doing perverted things sometimes. She said, I came downstairs and caught him looking out the window, playing with himself. I was like, yikes. And so she left the brother because she had a small daughter. And then, maybe a year later, he got arrested for molesting a 10-year-old girl, man. You got it up.
Got two comments. First one, Nolly Dre said, my adopted grandmother ran the house. My adopted grandfather just sat back and let her run it, shaking my head. And then Marcus said, a year before last, my homegirl boyfriend killed her and her daughter.
God damn.
My homeboy baby mother's brother been arrested recently for a child molestation with a child under the 8 years old.
Good night, man. Listen, the nation of Israel, man, we are destroyed, man. We are truly destroyed. And this, guess what? This is a part of the curses that the Most High put on us. If you could you get me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54? Good night, man. That is hell, man. That is true hell, man, to where a brother kills a woman, man. Like, brother, what did he kill the sister? He killed the sister and the daughter, man. Come on, man. Good night, man.
Deuteronomy 28:54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate.
At one point in time, the man that was among you was tender and very delicate. Go ahead.
His eyes shall be evil towards his brother.
His what?
Eyes shall be evil towards his brother.
That's what we got going on right now. That's the gangs that you have going on. When you don't have that proper structure in that family household, these curses fall upon you. And guess what? A brother who was very delicate and tender among you, his eyes shall be evil towards his own brother. Go ahead.
And towards the wife of his bosom.
And who towards who else?
The wife of his bosom.
And he's going to hate that woman also. Isn't that what's going on in the black community right now? The man hate everybody. He can't stand his wife. I hate that stupid B. Look at that nigga over there. I can't stand. He get on my damn nerves too. Go ahead.
And toward the remnant of his children.
And he hate the damn children too. Go ahead.
Which he shall leave.
What should he do?
Leave.
Those children he gonna leave. This is a part of that article that we're reading where it says single family households. Single family households is a curse from the Lord on us, man. Your Christian pastor would never tell you the reason why we have single black and brown Latino households is because it is a curse upon the nation of Israel. Read that last point again up. What said his eye?
His eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
And he's going to lead them children, man. You know what I'm saying? And we had, like we just read, man, was 68%. So was it 72? 72% of black family households don't have a father in there. 72%. This is a biblical curse on black Latinos and Native Indians, man. This is a biblical curse, man. Go ahead.
55.
Come, you go ahead. Come.
Verse 55. So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children.
God damn, he ain't gonna get the kids nothing. What does that mean? What does that mean when he doesn't give the kids anything? What does that mean? Think about it in Judite terms. What does that mean when the man doesn't give the kids anything? You got to answer it up.
Like, I mean, is that far as with how the woman portray him to be, or just in general?
This is just in general. Think about it in the biblical scripture. What does it mean? Biblical.
Oh, no discipline?
Nuh-uh. Read it again. Read it again. Just Barbara Shah.
So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children.
What does that mean in Judite terms? Think about it as a black man reading this.
He won't give his child up to no grown man.
No.
How they his child?
No. Nah. When it says he won't give to his children means he's not taking care of his children. He's not. He left them, and he's not giving them anything. Like he's not providing. He's not. Like kids need shoes, clothes, and all of that. Guess what? He ain't there to give you nothing. He's not there. Isn't that the black community today? How many of us live in a house, have seen tons of black and brown community families who have their mother doing everything by herself,
right? Because
the father left and he's not contributing anything. He's not buying the kids shoes, clothes, nothing. He's gone. That is a curse. If you want to know why your father isn't in your household, because he's underneath this curse, man. You got it up.
Brother Marcus said, continue off of his last comment. He said, hid the daughter body in the dumpster.
God damn.
Then Nolly Dre said, I was just on the phone with my girl, and she told me about a girl like family, basically like a homegirl, close family member. Girl like family to her is 14 years old, sleeping with a 24-year-old, and there is no father in the household. And her grandmama despised her, and she met this guy in church.
So the grandma hate the 14-year-old girl, but she met the boy in church.
Okay.
That ain't a boy, that's a man.
Right. Straight out.
This is the result of not having a father in your household. But the reason why a lot of us don't have a father in that household is because we fall underneath these curses. And these curses are kicking our tails, man.
Right.
These curses are not to play with. This is how you know who the nation of Israel is. Does that fake Jewish man with them raggedy ass ponytails on the side, so like it, with those raggedy ponytails on the side of his head, he's in his children's life. He doesn't make it the statistics of black single family households.
Right.
You know why he's in the household? Because he's not Israel. He doesn't fall underneath these curses.
Right.
But guess who does? Black, Latino, and Native Indian women. They fall right underneath these curses. Black, Latino, and Native Indian men. They fall right underneath these curses, man. Can you read that scripture again? Because that is a heavy scripture.
Verse 55.
Come.
Verse 55. So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat.
And what does that mean, eat? Like he should destroy. Go ahead.
Because he have nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thy enemy shall distress thee in all thy gates.
And he ain't got nothing to give because guess what? His enemies have him in distress at the gates, at his home. He ain't got nothing to give. He trying to, listen, the devil has destroyed your father so much, he can't even give you. He ain't got nothing left. He ain't got nothing left. You want to know why your father leave? The damn devil, these oppressors don't turn your damn mother against him. He got to argue with her.
Right.
He got to argue with the boss at his job. He got to go into the streets and argue with his own people. He tired. Guess what he do? He just leave. He just leave. I forget it. I can do better by myself. I just go live in this homeless shelter for the next 20 years and smoke crack. That's better for me. That's better. You know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of being beat down. I'm tired of being destroyed. Let me become an alcoholic. That's better for me.
Right.
That's better. Oh, you know what? You know how I'm going to take care of my kid? I can get my kids straight. Let me go sell drugs and destroy my own people.
Right.
But dang, I forgot. If I get caught again, this time I'm going to do 15 years. Because I'm already a convicted felon. But I don't care. At least it'll make her stop yelling at me. This is a part of us, man. These curses have truly destroyed us, man. Go ahead.
Verse 56.
Con.
56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her feet upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness.
Because at one point in time, man, our sisters, man, and we have those sisters in the UPK. These sisters in the UPK are tender and delicate women, man. But at one point in time, all of our women were like that, man. They were tender and delicate, man. Wouldn't even put their feet on the damn ground. I'm talking about, you see now, you got sisters out here fighting barefooted in the streets.
Right.
But at one point in time, our sisters were so delicate. Think about how beautiful that is. A sister so delicate, she won't even let her foot hit the ground.
Right.
That's a badass sister. It's like it. That's a bad woman. Feet so beautiful. Damn. That's all I can say. Slack.
Slow down, big fella.
Slow down, big fella. You in class. Slack, you got it out.
Her eyes shall be evil toward the husband.
Her what?
Her eyes shall be evil towards her husband.
Haven't we seen that? Haven't we seen these women turn evil towards their husband? Brothers getting beat with frying pans out the house.
Right.
Brothers getting tires cut, stabbed, falsely accused and locked up. Haven't we seen that?
Right.
Go ahead.
Of her bosom, and towards her son.
And what?
Towards her son.
Notice how it said that too. Her eye should be evil towards her husband and towards her son. Because after she hates the father, who does she hate next? Who does that woman hate next after she hates the father? The son.
Right.
Look, man, if you don't believe this is our book, man, this is in the Bible, man.
Right.
We ain't making this up. This is in the Bible. Notice how it said that. It says, her eyes should be evil towards her husband of her bosom and toward her son. Isn't that what you see in the black community? What happens when that father leaves? What is the first thing the mother says when she gets mad at that son? What's the first thing she says? Let me get some of those answers in the comment section. What is the first thing the mother says after the father leaves and he's not giving any money? Who does she come out the next? The son. And what is the first thing she says to him? We got comments?
No, not yet, sir. Just to hear it.
You got it.
Brother Mark said your daddy ain't it.
Oof, that's one of them.
Nolly Dre said you ain't gonna be it just like your dad.
Oh, that's another one. That's the main one right there.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't just like your daddy. Look at you.
Right.
Looking just like your daddy. A piece of That's a curse, Ak.
That's real.
That's a curse, Akwath. That's a curse on our people, man. First she hates the dad, then she hates the son. Go ahead and guess who she hates next. Go ahead.
And towards her daughter.
And what?
Towards her daughter.
Ooh, you trying to take my man. Itch, you think you grown, don't you? Put some clothes on while I got company. Doesn't this sound familiar? Isn't this what we live every day in the black and brown community? Isn't this the life we live in?
Right.
You wonder why we live like this is a part of the biblical curses, man. The curses that our families wouldn't stand in these curses, man. It's going to take for us to come back and serve the Lord underneath righteousness in order for us to be right, man. Anything else on that up?
No, sir.
Okay, come, let me see. You can go ahead to the next scripture.
Verse 57. And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet,
Go ahead.
and toward her children which she shall bear.
And that baby, those children that she should bear, go ahead.
For she shall eat them for want of all things secretly.
She gonna destroy them kids for all the things that she want. How many mothers have you seen? What she say? Mama gotta have a life too. Mama gotta have a life too. As soon as she meet a man who got some type of money, man, listen, man, that man will do what he want to do to them kids in that house, man. That man will do whatever, man. I don't heard stories about it. I listen, being in the UPK, man, we counsel a lot of brothers and sisters, man.
Right.
You know how many sisters we don't counsel, and they always tell us, my mama boyfriend tried to touch me, or he touched me, or he molested me. Because what, he had a little money? And mama got to be happy too. But somebody got to suffer for mama to be happy. Come on, man. This is a part of our culture, man. This is a part of the curses that are among the children of Israel, man. That's it on that. Let me get some more scriptures, man. Let me get some more scriptures to show you how we supposed to be, man. Get me Psalms chapter 127 verse 3 if you could, Baba Kusha.
Okay.
Uh, 127 verse 3.
Psalms 127 verse 3. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord.
Children are what?
Are an heritage of the Lord.
Children are an heritage from the Lord, man. Go ahead.
And the fruit of the womb.
And they are fruit from the womb, man. They are something that's going to help you prosper from the womb, man. That's Psalms 127 verse 3.
Okay.
That's what children are, man. You should be thankful when the Most High blesses you with a child, man. Because that is a gift from the Lord himself, man. Be happy that the Most High has blessed you with a child. No matter what you're going through, man. You might be poor, whatever, but be happy that the Most High has gave you children, man.
Right.
Because they are part of your heritage, man. Salakia, if you could also, I'm kind of going to rush through these a little bit. If you could, you give me Isaiah chapter 54, verse 13.
Isaiah 54 and 13. And all the children shall be taught of the Lord, and shall be the peace of thy children.
Read that again, Baba Kushai.
Verse 13. And all the children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
All children should be taught of the Lord, man. That's why it's so important for the UPK to be, because we're teaching the children like the Most High has taught us how to teach these children, man. We're teaching them the laws, statutes, and commandments. And with your kid learning these things, you're going to be able to get peace from that. You ain't going to have to worry about your kids trying to rape somebody or going in the streets being a destructive bastard in the streets.
Right.
You start teaching these kids at a young age these laws, statutes, and commandments, and the discipline. You gotta have the discipline. Sometimes you gotta. Didn't I tell you to do that? Huh? Didn't I? They ain't gonna kill them. They gonna learn.
Right.
And they gonna listen. You go ahead, Doc.
And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
Damn right, you're gonna get peace from these children, man. You're gonna get peace knowing that you can let your child go somewhere and ain't gotta worry about them doing anything evil, man. Robbing somebody, stealing something that ain't got nothing to do with it.
Right.
Because your children already been taught what they should and what they should not do. If you could get me, let me see. Get me John chapter 3, verse 1 and 4. Just John chapter 3, verse 4. Not 4, but John chapter 1, verse 4.
John 1 and 4. And in him was life, and the life was...
That's John chapter 3 John chapter 1 verse 4. Salaki, my bad. Salaki about that up.
3 John 1 and 4. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth.
Read that again.
I have no greater joy
I have no greater joy. Go ahead.
than to hear that my children walk in truth.
Damn right. You ain't gonna have no greater joy than learning that your children walk in truth, man. Your children come into the ISUPK and start to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments and begin to get raised correctly. It's gonna bring you great joy. Imagine when your children start to do the same exact things that you do in school. They come to Sabbath service. They keeping all the laws, statutes, and commandments. They not eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. They not doing any of those things.
Right.
They doing everything the same way that you doing it when it comes to serving the Lord in the UPK. Your son following in your footsteps. Hey, Pops, Dad, I want to be a trooper in the school. Your daughter, she got her head covered. She ain't even worried about trying to meet a boyfriend. She doing whatever you tell her to do. That will make a father happy. Any father. Anything else on that?
Sorry.
Okay, kind of get one more scripture before. Give me Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8 through 9.
Proverbs 1 and 8. My son, hear the instructions of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother.
Damn right. Listen to what your father and mother are telling you, man. Especially if they're righteous parents, man. You got righteous parents like here in the UPK. Listen to what they're telling you, man. Your mother and father here in the UPK, they're not going to tell you anything wrong. They're not going to tell you to go out here and sell drugs. You got some mothers teaching their daughters how to steal. Teaching their I seen the video where the sister was in the liquor store, had the kids putting liquor, had the damn kids putting alcohol in their pants. I've seen videos with brothers teaching the young men, the young boys, the young sons, how to throw up gang signs. Prepare him for his death. This scripture says, hear my sons, your father's instructions. Go ahead.
And forsake
you.
not the law of thy mother.
Damn right. Don't forsake what your mother has to tell you either, especially if she's righteous, man. Especially if your mother's a righteous woman. You got a mother who's righteous, who ain't out here smoking cigarettes and weed. Who ain't bringing man in the house. You know, you got sisters now who bring a new man in the house every time. And what do they tell them? This your daddy right here. Call him daddy. I've seen it. That shit is harsh like it. It is horrible.
Right.
I seen kids rock up to some man and daddy. One thing you should never do, brother. Brother, if you're a brother in this school and you have a woman that has children, never allow her children to call you father.
Right.
Their daddy. Show that brother some respect because you might gain them over. Make sure you let them children know, hey, I'm not your father. You have a father. I'm not your father, but you have a father.
Right.
But I love you and I care about you, though. Want to make sure they know that.
Right.
Hey, with that, man, we're going to go ahead and close the class. I'm going to pass it over the priest and officer of Shai Allah.
Get that wonderful priest and officer hand. It's a heavy class right there. ISUPK security announcement. We are the ISUPK. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a brother and sister. When a new brother and sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it.
After 6 months, if a brother or sister has a interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10, means tenth in Hebrew, Maestro, 10% of every penny of increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for the priest, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like. Upholy convocation. Passover, 14th day of the first month, Friday, April 15, 2022. Exodus 12, 1 through 51, Leviticus 23, 4 through 5, 1 Corinthians 5, 7 through 8, 2 Chronicles 30 and 17. Reminder, Akim and Agua to check the bulletin board in the hallway if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, I say shalom.